been imitated, never duplicated. The greatest show under the world of outlaws.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. We warmly welcome you to the Dre Broadcasting Network tonight as we open a new chapter with the Roaring Thunder. We are coming to you live from Sebring International Raceway for the Roaring Thunder Racing League IndyCar Sebring Grand Prix for round 1 of an amazing IndyCar race season to come. I'm your commentator, Sean Zulu, and I am joined by my good friend and producer, Dave Everett, up here in the Dre Broadcasting booth. How are you doing tonight?
Doing great, Sean. It's been a while since we brought you road racing. First time for us tonight doing open wheel, but I'm excited here at Sebring International Raceway with the Roaring Thunder Racing League. I think it's going to be a blast.
Oh, a blast it will be indeed. Amazing drivers right here. Roaring Thunder Racing League. Very, very fast machines. Very, very amazing track. 3.7 miles long with 17 turns with a 75% fuel limit. And once again, ladies and gentlemen, for those who are new, welcome. First of all, welcome to the Dre Broadcasting Network. And for those viewers who are returning, welcome back to the Dre Broadcasting Network. And we do hope that you guys enjoy your stay here tonight with the Roaring Thunder Racing Series. And they went from Pro Can-Am Series last season to IndyCars this season. And this last season's defending champion is Jeremy Horn in the 14. So he will be trying his best to defend his title. And Dave, I should admit, it would seem easier to defend the title in something you won it in. Basically, he won the title in the Pro Can-Am Series class. So with that said, Dave, it might be a challenge for him. But when we spoke to him last week during the interview after the Demolition Derby, it wasn't a Demolition Derby, but during the Figure 8 race, he talked about how ready he was. So it's a good thing to hear.
Yeah, most definitely. Switching from a closed wheel stock car here to the open wheel Indy car, it's going to be challenging. But as you said, he seemed like he was ready. So it'll be interesting to see how this is going to play out here. So I think we have a good field out here tonight. So I think it's going to be a fun race.
Oh, most definitely. And we have 1 minute here before qualifying ends. And let's see, so far on the pole, we do have the 75 of Robert Barris. And this track is once again 3.7 miles long. That is 3.7 miles with 17 turns in total with a 75% fuel limit tonight. And with that said, the lap times are going all the way from 1 minute 47 seconds to about 2 minutes 7 seconds. It just depends on the pace of the drivers and also based on how much heat they generate into those tires and how much grip they have. And with that said, I talked about the 75% fuel limit. We have that is 750%. So I believe that gives us at least 2 required pit stops in order for the drivers to be able to make it the full length of the race tonight for 25 whole laps. And Dave, that track temp is on the high side tonight, 104 degrees Fahrenheit.
Yeah, so that's going to play a part, but I tell you what, these cars are great handling cars, great downforce, good aerodynamics, so even with a slick track though, we're going to see these guys pushing these Indy cars to their max.
Oh, absolutely, and Dave, sadly enough, with these machines, rubbing is not racing. In this case, you can actually say, I believe, rubbing is wrecking?
Yeah, pretty much. They got to take care of because they make contact with their wheels. I mean, it's going to send their toe way out. Vehicle's not going to be very fast. These things aren't as durable under contact as, say, a stock car. So they got to be careful of that, too, with the overtaking.
Absolutely. We're going to be seeing a lot of drivers trying to set each other up, and Dave, these machines draft very, very well. I was watching, I mean, from my experience as well, I've raced them at tracks, oval tracks like Charlotte, Indianapolis Speedway, and these things draft very well. They do suck up pretty well, and that's going to be a good thing for these drivers tonight. And they also have a button, what do you call it? I forget the name of it, but it's basically a button you push that gives you a few seconds of boost. It boosts you about, I believe, 5 to 10 miles an hour. Usually you can use that to get a slingshot on the driver in front of you. So these drivers, Dave, have all these tools available to them. It's just up to them to use them and to use them right. And the red flag has flown, ending the qualifying session, so we will give the drivers a few more seconds. Oh, we still have actually 1 minute 35 seconds left. So far, we have some drivers still trying to put down some lap times. Oh, man. We have somebody taking over the pole. That's going to be the 88 of Keaton Bommersbach. And Keaton, a very old friend of mine, good friend of mine. Haven't seen him in a very long time, but we had a chance to catch up a little bit before the race started here tonight. He talked about how he came in 10 minutes before the before qualifying started and had to learn the track in 10 minutes. And Dave, he is a quick learner. I should admit, he's a very, very fast learner because he took the pole and is a second faster than second place driver Robert Barris. And so far here in tonight's race, we have a total of about, that's going to be 9 drivers. Yep, we do have Charles Smith, Jeremy Horn, Rick Mason, Mark Gomez-Kochik, Ronald Vincent, Jim Whaley Jr., Mark McFadden, Robert Barris, and Keaton Bommersbach. And here we have greetings about to begin in about 10 seconds. So we'll give the drivers a few seconds to grid up before we go down the list. And if you are there in the chat, ladies and gentlemen, let us know. Say hello. Don't forget. Don't feel threatened. Don't feel intimidated. Feel free to speak at any time. Type in the chat, and we will respond to you as soon as we can, as soon as we get the chance. Well, as promised, the grid is now ready. On the pole once again is the 88 of Keaton Bommersbach. Right beside him is the second place driver, 75 of Robert Barris. Defending champion 14, Jeremy Horn. Starting third, Charles Smith. Fourth, the 48, Mark McFadden. Fifth, the last driver qualifying tonight, 37 of Ronald Vincent. Sixth, Mike Major. Seventh, Rick Mason. Eighth, Jim Whaley Jr. Ninth, Art Peck 10th, and Mark Gomez-Kochik in the 11th place position. And I just named off 11 drivers right there, but 2 of those 11 drivers are not racing, unfortunately. So that's going to give us a 9-car field here tonight at Sebring International Raceway. And those 2 drivers who were missing tonight include Art Peck and Mike Major. But we look forward to seeing these drivers back again for round number 2 next week at Auto Club Speedway with the Indy cars. What a heck of a combination of a track and car. That's going to be amazing with how these things draft. Well, so far here we are now rolling, being led by post sitter 88 of Keaton Bombers back. And pace speed here is 60 miles an hour for 25 laps, 17 turns, 75% fuel limit, at least 2 required pit stops. Well, it's safe to say at least 1 required pit stop until further notice. Yep, 1 required pit stop, so fingers crossed. And once again, Dave, we forgot to mention one thing. This is not an oval. With that said, if you go a lap down, that's going to be difficult to get that lap back.
Yeah, most definitely. And I do believe there is no full course caution, so these guys will have, you know, they make a mistake, it's going to cost them, that's for sure.
Oh, absolutely, and we're going to be seeing a lot of drivers taking it easy on lap number 1. Usually the machines here on the road courses, they kick in, they become alive or come to life after the first lap. So you can really consider, or you can call the first lap basically a warm-up lap. After that, you generate enough heat into those tires, your machine starts sticking better, it starts responding better. So with that said, the first lap should be these drivers just taking it easy, trying to generate some heat, put some heat into these tires before they can start actually pushing these things to the limit. Once again, 17 turns, 75% fuel limit, 3.7 miles long the track is. So let's get it done. What can go wrong? And you are watching this live here on the Dre Broadcasting Network, the Roaring Thunder Racing Series, the IndyCar Series here with the Roaring Thunder. We do hope that you guys enjoy the show tonight and hope you guys have enough popcorn and refreshments to last the whole entire race. It will be white knuckle racing battlefield, so we do hope that you guys are able, well, will be able to keep up with everything. And I do have the track map handy with me, and I will try my best to go over these turns. We do have most of these turns have names. So like, for example, so far we are on the Almond Straight in between turns number 16 and 17. 17 being the final turn before the start-finish line, and the turn is called Sunset Bend. Well, we are coming up to Sunset Bend, turn number 17, going green this time by being led once again by post setter, the 88 of Keaton Bombers back. Nice and steady exit. The pace car dips off. Keaton still holds pace speed. The green flag flies. It doesn't hesitate. It puts down the floorboard. He does catch everybody off guard, but behind him, 14 of Jeremy Horn to the inside of the 75 of Robert Bear for second place, and he makes the pass successful. Now he goes way wide, and Bear does a crossover against him and takes back all his rightful his, which was the second place spot before the next turn, turn number 3.
Yeah, most definitely. They're getting these engines roaring here as they are flying around this track here under green flag conditions here on lap 1 of 25. That's right, just 25 laps here tonight at Sebring.
Yep, and so far the driver is still trying to get comfortable with these machines, and so far Barris is the closest to the leader. Keaton Bombers back. Keaton here is so far still exercising some serious patience. Here he knows it's a long way to go. Everybody knows that, but at the same time they are trying to take it while they can. And we already have the field very spread out as we speak. It's getting nothing but spread out with every single turn. And we have 18 of Rick Mason here in the back of the pack. Well, not really in the back, but he is behind the 37. Actually, that's going to be the 33 of Mark Gomez-Kochik. Already we have some position changes as we speak. And the 13 of Charles Smith here is drafting off the 14 of Jeremy Horn. And once again, the draft is very strong. And the secrets to be successful at making passes on a road course is having some serious, I should say, some excellent exits.
Yeah, most definitely. I mean, you make one small error, get into the grass, it could cost you big here.
Oh, that's a very, very good point. You do not want to tap the grass under braking. That is a recipe for disaster. And we have so many heavy braking zones, for example, between turns 16 and 17. 17 being the last turn before the start-finish line. There's a very, very long straight. And with a long straight comes a lot of high speed, which means heavy braking is required in turn 17 to avoid us smacking that wall. And in practice, I noticed a lot of drivers, Dave, locking up their front wheels due to pretty much standing on those brakes, trying to slow those machines down from 170 plus miles an hour down to about 70, 80 miles an hour so they can be able to take the turns. And at the same time, that did cost a lot of drivers some time, and it had some negative consequences in terms of drivers spinning out and hitting the wall, because once they slammed on those brakes and locked those tires up, those front wheels up, they lost control of the whole entire machine, and at that point it was all up to the machine to find its way.
Well, Sean, I'm not sure what happened, but the 88 of Keaton Bomberback, he went down pit road already here, so I'm not sure what's going on, but that handed the race lead over to the 75 of Robert Burris. So he is now leading here at Sebring, with Jeremy Horn moving up into second, Charles Smith sitting in third, Mark McFadden fourth, and Jim Whaley Jr. rounding out your top five.
Absolutely not sure exactly what happened to Keaton Bombersback indeed, but very unfortunate for him. But we'll look forward to seeing him back up front. I mean, he qualified on the pole. With that said, he should be able to make up some serious time before the race is over tonight. So we will keep an eye on him and watch him work his way through the field. And going a little bit up front here, we have the 48 of Mark McFadden. Mark McFadden being shown about 1.6 seconds behind his next victim for position number 3. That's 13 of Charles Smith. And so far, Charles Smith is being shown. Oh, the gap is increasing. So far, the field is very spread out. For example, we have Jeremy Horn 2 seconds behind the second place driver, the leader, and second place qualifier, the 75 of Robert Barris. And this would be a good time, ladies and gentlemen, to give you guys some insight. Basically, let's ride on the in-car of one of the drivers. Let's focus on the 46 of Jim Whaley Jr., just so we can see exactly what it takes to be fast at this track and be able to take turns. Enjoy the show. And that right there, ladies and gentlemen, was the shotgun seat, shotgun riding with the 46 of Jim Whaley Jr. Great driving on his part. And we saw right there he was actually able to go up from 5th place to 4th place as we were riding shotgun with him. And once again, very, very great driving on his part. And you could see right there, he is very, very cautious. He is putting it down to the floor while the wheels are straight to avoid getting that thing squirrely. And you could have seen back there in turn 17, Sunset Bend. Sunset Bend is very, very bumpy. And while taking that turn, he was very, very cautious. He wasn't full throttle trying to take the turn, but he was giving it enough gas to keep the machine stabilized, and that did end up paying off. And so far he is being shown about 3.3 seconds behind his next victim, the 13 of Charles Smith, for third place. Charles Smith holding the door and the keys to the podium here so far, but it's only 4 laps in, with about 21 laps remaining, or 22 laps remaining here in tonight's race. So still a lot needs to be done. And for the back in the pack, Keaton Bombers back is behind the 37 of Ronald Vincent. Looks like the gap has increased. And with all these turns, it's difficult to keep up with the times because different turns basically put drivers in different time intervals on the relatives. But we'll try and keep it updated as we cross the start-finish line every time. And for the back in the pack, the 18 of Rick Mason in the 9th place spot so far, having a Sunday drive. He is. Oh, he misses his turn on the train entrance. He goes to the grass. Oh, man, good thing he wasn't carrying too much speed, because that wall with those tires was really, really happy to see him. You know, it had his arms wide open, ready to grab him, but he was able to back that sucker down in time to avoid all contact, all damage, all negative consequences. And back on the track he goes, and dust off the wheels and the grass. Everything is off the wheels, all the debris off the wheels, because that as well does mean less grip and a lot more time spinning and less time racing. And going for the back up front, the 14 of Jeremy Horn, now 2.9 seconds behind 75 of Robert Barris. We have Jim Whaley Jr. catching up to the 13 of Charles Smith at a very, very slow rate every single lap. Looks like the gap here seems to be consistent between the two drivers, Whaley Jr., including Charles Smith. So they do see each other. I mean, they do know that each other are very close. And with that said, that's enough motivation for them to keep that gap consistent or increasing with every single lap. And 48 of Mark McFadden as well, being shown 4 seconds behind Jim Whaley Jr. So as Jim Whaley is running down Charles Smith, Mark McFadden is running down Jim Whaley. And this is a road course. Slow in, fast out. Too fast in, you most likely will not be able to make it out. So with that said, you have to take it easy on the entrance to the turns in order for you to set yourself up or have a good apex, so you can be able to have an excellent exit. Like we talked about, the exits are very, very important, very, very crucial, because that is the difference between gaining time or losing time, and even making moves and making positions or gaining positions away from other drivers, other opponents. So these drivers definitely know that. They do have that in mind. And for the back in the pack, we have the 33 of Mark Gomez-Kochik. Mark Gomez-Kochik as well. He is now 2 seconds behind. Two drivers battling side by side. Mark McFadden and Jim Whaley Jr. They have caught each other side by side still as we speak here on the straight stretch. Entering the, that's going to be the carousel. Actually, that's going to be the hairpin.
Yeah, we saw the 46 of Jim Whaley get loose, get spun around in the grass. That allowed Mark McFadden to catch up. Also, Mark Gomez-Kochik, he is right there as well, ready to pounce on that position. So it'll be interesting to see if Jim Whaley Jr. can hold him off.
Absolutely, and so far Jim Whaley, his bigger picture right now, all he sees is getting that 4th position back, because right now he is now in the 5th place spot, and Mark McFadden behind him. Looking at the wrong car here. Sorry, that's going to be the 33 of Mark Gomez-Kochik. And so far, the gap in between McFadden and Jim Whaley Jr. does stay consistent. But so far, Whaley is going to have the benefit of the draft here on the straight stretch between turns 16 and 17, coming up to Sunset Bend, which once again is turn number 17. And he hopefully will be able, or he's not close enough to make a difference just yet, but he'll be trying to boost as much as he can. And as you can see right now, the 48 of McFadden did end up locking up those tires' front wheels, but ended up keeping the machine under control and went way wide to try and use up as much of the track as he could, because the more of the track you use, the better you are, the better off you are. And at this point, it's due to Mark McFadden pushing that machine to the limit, trying to increase that gap between him and Jim Whaley Jr. And so far, Mark Gomez-Kochik has... Oh, Mark Gomez-Kochik on pit road this time by... That's going to be a green flag pit stop on Kochik on lap number 7. So that's going to be 7 laps on his tires and tank. So with that said, yeah, I guess 2 green flag pit stops should be are required in order to be able to make it.
Well, I'm still thinking it's going to be one, Sean. I think he came in, realized that he could go ahead and come in, get his tires, get his fuel, make it the rest of the race. So he's trying to short pit it just a little here to try to make up track position, as we are still being led by the 75 of Robert Burris. He has now got about a 5.8 second lead over the 14 of Jeremy Horn.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it could be the case there with that driver, Mark Gomez-Kochik, trying to short pit. But he pitted in with 7 laps in and 19 laps remaining. So when it comes to track position, thinking about it, that's going to hurt him and not work with him. But you know, the race is not over. The race is still young. It's not over until it's over. Anything can happen. And also we had Rick Mason. Rick Mason right now is actually still in the 9th place spot. He's being shown 1 minute 42 seconds behind the leaders. And with that said, the leaders are only 5 seconds behind him. Namely, Robert Burris is 5 seconds behind him. So if Rick Mason does not up the pace, Robert Burris will put him a lap down in no time. Oh yeah, Robert Burris does have him in his sights. They do have each other so far. And he is in his draft. Rick Mason stays right, lets Burris by, and no harm done. And that does put Rick Mason 1 lap down, and putting and being the first driver a lap down. Oh, and we just had another driver go down pit road a lap ago. That was the 46 of Jim Whaley Jr. He went down pit road as well with 7 laps on his tires. Yeah, maybe that is the pit window. But yeah, it's only a matter of time before the leaders up front start to pit in. But Dave, the good thing about having such a lead, in this case Robert Burris' lead over second place driver Jeremy Horn and the rest of the field, that's a lot of time, 5 seconds. And with that said, Dave, Robert Burris has a lot of room for error.
Yeah, because here with these Indy cars, though, you got to remember, they're not going to have a 12, 13 second pit stop. These guys are having 6 to 7 second pit stop. These guys get in, get out quick. I mean, it's just amazing how fast the pit crews can change 4 tires and add a tank of fuel.
Absolutely, that means less time spent on pit road and more time taking names on the racetrack, trying to just pretty much beat the track and beat your opponents at the exact same time. And now Robert Burris increases his lead from 5.8 seconds over Jeremy Horn to now 6.4 seconds over Jeremy Horn. So it looks like Jeremy Horn might have burned up his tires trying to run down Robert Burris, because for a second there, a couple of laps back, he was catching Robert Burris, but then that did end up changing in the long run. And also further back in the pack, the 13 of Charles Smith being shown 13 seconds behind the leader 75 of Robert Burris. And everybody at this point, or only 2 drivers have pitted in at this point, and that's going to be Mark Gomez-Kochik and Jim Whaley Jr. with 7 laps on their tires and tanks. So it makes me wonder exactly when the drivers up front will be going down pit road. But Dave, maybe you were right about the strategies of both Gomez-Kochik and Whaley Jr. trying to short pit and trying to make it the remainder of the way and trying to get that track position. But fingers crossed, we're about to find out either way.
Yeah, and taking a look here at the 88 of Keaton Bommersback, our pole setter, we saw him go down pit road on the first lap. So he dropped all the way to the back. He has moved back up into 5th place. So he's got probably about less than 2 laps than our leaders do. So he's got a little bit fresher. But the thing is, will we have enough fuel to make it the remainder of the race? We're going to find out is we are now 16 laps to go here at Sebring. We're going to go ahead and take this time to take our first commercial break of the night. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we'll be right back here on the Dre Broadcasting Network.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Dre Broadcasting Network as we continue tonight's journey. The Roaring Thunder Racing League IndyCar Sebring Grand Prix, brought to you by Roaring Thunder Racing League for the IndyCar Race Series for round number 1 of an amazing race season to come here with the IndyCars. Well, going back to the race, green flag pit stops came and went. The leaders have already pitted in, but we still have one driver still left to pit in or needing to pit in, and that's going to be the 88 of Keaton Bommersbach, who was the post sitter and had some bad luck and had to go down pit road early on and went to down from the lead to 8th place, worked his way back up to 4th place, and is trying his best to still gain some time, because he has gained a lot of time this far already. He's come a very, very long way. He's now moved up to 2nd place as we speak, only 5 seconds behind the leader, 75 of Robert Barras. But once he pits in, that lead will increase and he will lose the spots he gained. Well, some spots he gained, so he will be trying his best to do it all over again and try and catch up to the drivers or the leaders. And from what we had seen with the leaders up front, Robert Barras, Jeremy Horn, Charles Smith, these drivers pitted in with 11 laps on their tires, 4 laps more than the first 2 drivers we talked about. That was Mark Gomez-Kochik, including Jim Whaley Jr. pitting in with 7 laps on their tires. So with that said, it is possible that we see another round of pit stops. But at the same time, that could be the only pit stop we see tonight. But we are about to find out, because we have a 75% fuel limit here tonight. That is 75% fuel limit. So fingers crossed. And so far for the back of the pack, the 33 of Mark Gomez-Kochik is 3 seconds behind 46 of Jim Whaley Jr. He does have him in his sights, but is nowhere near the draft range. So far he is trying to set him up in these turns. And you can see here we have a lot of cones right before the turns, right before we approach the turns. And these cones act as the braking markers, the braking points for the drivers out there. It's there to remind them you can brake now. It's there to let them know. Basically, they have a different number of cones in different areas there of before the turn. So the less cones you have, that means that's the latest you can brake. And a lot of later braking means a lot more speed through the turns, and that means a lot slower exit or worse exit. And that is never a good thing unless you're trying to outbrake your opponent. Then that is worth it. But so far 88 of Keaton Bommersbach gives up second place, goes down pit road this time by, and that finally rounds up the first round of green flag pit stops. 14 Jeremy Horn being shown 10 seconds behind leader, the 75 of Robert Barris. And last time we checked, before the green flag pit stops kicked in between Jeremy Horn and Robert Barris, they were about 6.4 seconds apart from each other. Looks like Barris was able to increase his lead, as he's now 10 seconds ahead of Jeremy Horn. So right now Horny will be trying his best to get up there and try his best to chop that lead down in half, 5 seconds in only a matter of laps. At this point, Dave is just hoping for some serious mistakes from Barris.
Yeah, pretty much. He's hoping on that mistake. I'm not sure though. Robert Burris is putting down a pretty good race here. He's hitting his marks and staying steady, so it'll be interesting to see.
Yeah, absolutely. And at the moment, Robert Barris is still as fast as he was in practice and qualifying. Last lap, he ran a 1:47.495, which is just about 0.2 of a second slower than his qualifying time. So that's still very, very fast. He is still in that 1:47 range. He gets around the 18 of Rick Mason. Rick Mason lets him by without a fight. And we have another driver being shown 1 lap down, 37 of Ronald Vincent. So right now, Ronald Vincent and Rick Mason are racing for position number 8, because they are both 1 lap down. 48, Mark McFadden, status check. He is in the 7th place spot. He is about, that's going to be 8 seconds behind his next victim for position number 6. That's 33 of Mark Gomez-Kochik. Oh man, Mark goes way wide in the last turn. Turn number 17. The name of that once again is Sunset Bend. On the front stretch he goes.
I tell you what, Sean, this is a new adventure for us going to the open wheel road series. Well, actually, they're doing a mixture of road and oval, so this is going to be fun. I tell you what, I'm having a blast here watching these guys. Makes me want to get out on the track with them.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, and with these cars too, the Indy cars, it makes the racing a lot better, because they have a lot of grip, a lot of downforce. They seem to be well, they are easier to control compared to cars such as the GT3s or the other ones like the Corvettes here on iRacing, on the V8 machines. So yeah, these are totally different beasts, and make the racing a lot more exciting than compared to other road cars. And also, speaking of what's coming up, what's to come this season here with the Roaring Thunder Racing League here in the IndyCar Series. Next week, we'll be racing at Auto Club Speedway. After that, October 21st, we'll be racing at Barber Motorsports Park. On October 28th, Phoenix International Raceway. November 4th, Indianapolis Motor Speedway, the road course. And then after that, we'll be going to Indianapolis Motor Speedway, the oval. From there, November 18th, Michigan International Speedway. After that, we'll have 2 off weeks. Then December 9th, Texas Motor Speedway, that is Texas Motor Speedway. December 16th, Road America. January 6th, Iowa Speedway. January 13th, Kentucky Speedway. January 20th, Mid-Ohio Motorsports, that's Mid-Ohio Motorsports. January 27th, Pocono Raceway. February 3rd, Gateway Motorsports Park. Watkins Glen on February 10th. And we have Sonoma Raceway on February 24th. And that's going to be the end of the season here with the IndyCar series. So we have a lot of amazing tracks here on the schedule, a lot of amazing tracks to come. And if you guys would like to be a part of the action here behind the wheel of these machines on Saturday nights, every Saturday night, check them out at americantrucker8.wixsite.com. That is Wixsite, WIXSITE.com, americantrucker8.wixsite.com/RTRL. So check them out on that website. Also on iRacing, Roaring Thunder Racing League. So you guys can join and be a part of the action behind the wheel and seeing how these machines handle and just having a good time like these drivers have every single week or week after week. Oh, and unfortunately we have lost one driver. The 18 of Rick Mason parks it behind the wall. We'll look forward to seeing this driver back next week at Auto Club Speedway. And this would be a good time as well to again ride on the in-car with one of the drivers here on the racetrack. Here after having some pit stops and the track conditions changing. Here we're about to cross the start-finish line on the 33 of Mark Gomez-Kochik. So right now let's focus on the in-car of Mark Gomez-Kochik and watch him try and hunt down the 40. Oh, actually looks like he's going down pit road this time by. And I believe, Dave, this will be his final pit stop of the evening. But Mark Gomez has only ran 9 laps on his tires, 2 laps more than he ran his last, during the first round of green flag run that we just had. So, yep, this is his final pit stop, and yes, it is confirmed, 2 required pit stops tonight.
Yes, we watched the in-car, how quick that pit stop is as he's making his way off pit road. Hear him going through the gears, trying to get up speed, get back out on the track. So, it looks like our leader's going to have to come down pit road one more time here. The question is, though, can Keaton Bommersback make it on his 2 short pitch strategies? Because I think the most I've seen a driver go here is about 10 laps, Sean.
Yeah, absolutely. 10 laps sounds about right. That was the same with Keaton Bommersback there the first round. But absolutely, if Keaton Dave can make it without having to pit any more, that's gonna benefit him greatly. At the same time, well, during the first round, during the first green flag run we just had, before the pit stops kicked in, Keaton was about 36 seconds behind the leader, Robert Barris. But after the... oh, and we have the leader on pit road as we speak. Yep, Robert Barris going down pit road. Oh, yeah, he was on pit road with 7 laps on his tires. Jeremy Horn staying out. Yes, Jeremy Horn stays out. And Charles Smith as well is staying out. But they too will be going down pit road before too long. Oh, and Robert Barris has actually he's actually behind the 3rd place driver, Charles Smith.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, we have 9 laps remaining left here at Sebring. So we are going to take our final commercial break of the evening, give everybody a chance to refill their drinks. And we'll be right back here with the Roaring Thunder Racing League here live on the Dre Broadcasting Network.
Don't let your first date be your last. Visit People Against Distracted Driving at PADD.org.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Roaring Thunder Racing League IndyCar Sebring Grand Prix for round number 1 of the Roaring Thunder Racing League IndyCar Race Series. Well, green flag pit stops are still taking place as we speak, and so far Charles Smith, the 13, on pit road this time by giving up that second place position, going down pit road for his final pit stop of the evening. We have 6 laps left here in tonight's race, ladies and gentlemen. We have a new race leader, the 14 of Jeremy Horn, who as well still needs to pit in. And once Jeremy Horn pits in, Keaton might be needing to pit in, but we talked about how Keaton short pitted early on, so with that said, he might not need to pit in anymore. So if that's the case, so far Keaton, Bomber's back is being shown, is currently in second place position. But if he does not need to pit in, he will take over the race lead as soon as Jeremy Horn goes down pit road. And Robert Barris here being shown 2 seconds behind Keaton Bomber's back and is trying his best to run him down. But Keaton as well is really putting that hammer down the floor. And that machine is really getting pushed. You can see, oh man, he goes way wide. He touches some sand there on the left side, but no harm done. He's still going nice and straight. And Robert Barris still trying his best to catch up to him. And Keaton hoping that he does not need to pit in.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see as we are just now 6 laps remaining here in the season kickoff here in Sebring. So he's got 6 laps, so that looks like that's going to put Keaton right about 13 laps on this run. So the question is, does he have the fuel to make it?
Yeah, fingers crossed for Keaton Bomber's back. If he does not, if he has enough fuel to make it, it's looking very, very good for him. But if he does not have enough fuel to make it, not looking too good. But fingers crossed once again, the race is... Oh, he goes down pit road this time. But that answers our question. And he gives up the second place spot. And Robert Barris takes over the second place position. As Keaton right now is now pulling into his pit stop for some service.
Well, that leaves the question, how long is Jeremy Horn going to stay out? He's been 10 laps now, as he is the race leader. He's got about an 18-second gap between him and second place 75 of Robert Burris. So the question is how much longer can he stay out?
Yeah, and if he goes down pit road, well, we have 5 laps remaining. And he's 18 seconds ahead of second place driver Robert Barris. Dave, something tells me maybe if he pits in and takes no tires but gas only, and maybe doesn't take a full tank, he should be able to still stay ahead of Robert Barris. Maybe that's possible.
Well, I don't know. I mean, because to be honest, these cars only have one lug nut on them, so it doesn't really take very long to change a tire, because unlike with NASCAR, when they jack his car up, all 4 tires are getting changed at the same time instead of having to jack up one side, change 2, then the other side. But here he goes. He is going down pit road. So we're going to keep our cameras focused on the 14 of Jeremy Horn. See if he can get down pit road and get out and stay ahead of the 75 of Robert Burris.
Yeah, we focus on the 14 of Jeremy Horn, and as we focus on him, I personally will focus on Robert Burris and see exactly where he is. Oh, he just got around Jeremy Horn while Jeremy Horn was on pit road. So next lap, that's going to give the lead back to the rightful owner. I should say the previous leader, who has been the leader for the most laps here tonight, here at Sebring International Raceway. Robert Burris takes back the race lead with 4 laps remaining.
Yeah, taking a look at our top 5 right now, Sean. It's Robert Burris, the man out front. Jeremy Horn sitting in 2nd. Keaton Bommersback sitting 3rd. Charles Smith 4th. And Jim Whaley rounding out our top 5. Looks like they're pretty spread out all over the track here. So right now, Robert Burris, all he's got to do is hit his marks here. As he is currently about 10 seconds ahead of Jeremy Horn.
Yeah, absolutely. At this point, he seems to have a Sunday drive. So much room for error on his part. But he should not get too comfortable just yet. Because Jeremy Horn might have found extra gears under that machine due to the final pit stop. And 4 laps remaining here in tonight's race. Keaton Bommersback being shown 3rd. But once we cross the start finish, and I believe that will change. I'm not sure if that's right at the moment, but we will find out here before too long. And Charles Smith being shown 4th, Jim Whaley Jr. 5th, Mark Gomez Kochik 6th, Mark McFadden 7th, Ronald Vincent 8th. And that so far rounds up the drivers who are still racing. And status check on Ronald Vincent. We haven't spoken much of Ronald here tonight, but he's been doing an amazing job here, just keeping a low profile in the 8th place position, trying his best to catch up to the 48 of Mark McFadden. But looks like, well, Ronald is the only driver lap down. So in order for him to gain positions, he would have to lap the whole entire field to be back on the lead lap and then get around them again to advance his spot. But with 3 laps remaining, it's not impossible, but it is nearly impossible. It only depends on exactly what goes wrong with everybody else around him there in front of him, his opponents. And going back a little bit up front, Jim Whaley Jr. is about 27 seconds behind 13 of Charles Smith. And yes, the standings here did update, or the current chart updated, and Keaton Bommersback is in fact in 3rd place. Charles Smith is 4th place, and they are about 9 seconds apart. At the same time, Jeremy Horn, Keaton Bommersback, they are 11 seconds apart. So the gap is really it's getting bigger as we go further down this list here in the results at the moment. And 3 laps left in tonight's race. That is 3 laps.
I tell you, Sean, it's a little different out there not having full course cautions like we're normally used to, as we do a lot of oval racing. So I'll tell you what, it's definitely interesting, but these guys don't get the breaks that the oval guys do as far as the full course cautions. So they're putting on a heck of a show here. They are wheeling these machines around this track.
Oh, absolutely. And Dave, with them knowing that they do not have any full course cautions, and knowing how deadly a simple mistake could be, like simply tapping the grass with your left rear tire under braking, stuff like that, that is enough motivation for them to basically be cautious, be aggressive but cautious at the exact same time. Maybe more cautious than aggressive. You could say 90% aggressive and 10% careful. Cautious. Maybe scratch that. You can make that a 30-70. But yeah, that's enough motivation for them to keep these things together, knowing that one mistake could put them multiple laps down if that happens. And so far, we are now coming down to we are now 2 laps to go, actually. So next flag is the white flag. Next lap, the white flag flies.
Yeah, most definitely. So these guys know it. They're going to race their hearts out here to the end because they want to come away with a good finish to start off the season.
Absolutely gonna make this first race of the season count, make it a race to remember. And so far, Robert Burris has been very, very dominant. And I had a feeling if Keaton had been up there, hadn't had some bad luck early on, Robert Burris would have had some serious competition up there. And holy cow, Jeremy Horn has been just chopping down the lead of Burris every single lap. Ever since the last round of green flag pits of Jazz had, when he pitted in, he was 11 seconds behind Burris. But now, last lap, he was 9 seconds behind Burris. But now he's 8 seconds behind Burris. And next lap, at this rate, he might be 7 seconds behind Robert Burris. But so far, Burris coming out of turn 17 and will cross the start-finish line. The white flag will fly here before too long. Yes, the white flag flies. Final lap of the season season opener right here.
Yeah, he's just all he's got to do is hit his marks. But I know he is watching that thing because right now, Jeremy Horn only 6.5 seconds behind in closing. Jeremy Horn is pushing that machine. Meanwhile, he is also being caught by Keaton Bommersback. He's caught it down to 8 seconds. Not sure that's going to be enough time to catch him, but we're going to keep an eye on Jeremy Horn as he is slowly eating into the gap that Robert Burris has built.
Yeah, absolutely. And we talked about Jeremy Horn there being 8 seconds back last lap, and he actually gained 2 seconds in just one lap. Very, very impressive against Robert Burris. And his status check on Robert Burris. Robert Burris right now. Oop, I just messed up my standings. Oop, there we go. Robert Burris right now just entered turn number. I'm trying to catch the this turn. Oh, there we go. That's turn number 13 coming up to turn number 14, and here shortly he will be on the straight stretch to enter turn 17, last turn, to bring this thing home unchallenged so far. But Jeremy as well working that thing overtime, really pushing it as much as he can to try and he actually has him in his sights now. He sees Robert Burris in the distance. Oh man, and if he had a few more laps there, Dave, Horn would have had something for Robert Burris before the race ended. But right now, Robert Burris coming up to the last turn, turn 17, gonna bring this thing home unchallenged. And Jeremy Horn not too far behind him. Yes, Robert Burris exits turn number 17. Start finish line this time by brings this thing home and wins race number 1 of the Roaring Thunder Racing League IndyCar Series right here at Sebring International Raceway. Jeremy Horn comes out second. Keaton Bommersback is still racing. He crosses the start-finish line, comes out third. Charles Smith is still racing, is now approaching turn number 17, the final turn of the track here at Sebring. That's going to be Sunset Bend, and he will come out home in the 4th place spot. Jim Whaley Jr. being shown still on the straight stretch, entering the last turn, turn 17, Sunset Bend. Gonna bring this thing to the checkered flag in the 5th place spot. And so far that does round up the top 5. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we'll be interviewing the top 3 drivers. Robert Burris, tonight's race winner, defending champion. 2nd place, that's gonna be Jeremy Horn, and 88 of Keaton Bommersback in the 3rd place spot. And that, once again, that's your podium right there. So stay tuned for interviews. But in the meantime, we're gonna focus on Robert Burris as he does a victory lap. As we focus on tonight's race winner, Robert Burris, for his victory lap, and hopefully here we see a smoke show before too long. Heavy exits the last turn, this time by Sunset Bend. Turn number 17, approaching the start-finish line. This time by, well, buddy, you earned it, so please blind us. And once again, this is Robert Barras, tonight's race winner, who finished second in points last season behind Jeremy Horn. Get up there, Robert.
What got you?
How you doing tonight?
I'm doing pretty well.
Well, Robert, very dominant night on your parts tonight. You had the pole in practice for the longest time. Right before, just a few seconds before qualifying was over, it got robbed from you. By 88, Keaton Bombers back, but all race long, brother, you practiced, you had some serious patience, endurance, and you were there until the very end, executed some excellent green flag pit stops. But tell us about your experience for the first race of the season.
Well, that's a heck of a workout. This track's bumpy, it's technical, it's got a lot of turns, and I run a direct force wheel. So all these bumps and turns has the entire rig moving around, rocking me with it. So I'm pretty exhausted. I'm glad. I think next week we got an oval track coming up. I hope that'll be a bit of a break driving these Indy cars here.
Oh, absolutely. And yeah, the track was very bumpy. We noticed that, especially the last turn, turn 17. A lot of drivers ended up getting taken wide. Even you, a couple of times actually yourself. You got taken wide by those bumps on the exit of turn 17 with that wall and the tires just coming ever closer to you, trying to harm you, but you were able to keep them back, to keep your machine unscratched all race long tonight. And man, we've noticed the draft is very strong with these machines, the Indy cars. Tell us about your experience while trying to battle Keaton in the beginning there for the first lap, pretty much.
Yeah, I don't have a lot of experience in these cars. The only thing I really have done is the Indy 500. I've primarily, in my 20+ years of sim racing, been stuck with the stock cars. But my experience from the Indy 500s, that these things do put off quite a bit of aero wake, and they get really tight. So you just have to be really patient. If you can try to run off the line of the car in front of you, just get some air on the front wings, helps. So I just try to do that, be a little patient. And then it was actually kind of really early on, I think on the back half of the track, Peyton hit the rumble strips, pushing wide. I don't even know what turn numbers those are. And it got the car, it looked like really upset, and went to the wall. And at that point I had clean air, so I just kind of had to ride and see how things played out. I was able to open up a little bit of a gap and then just kind of ride around and take care of everything, and take care of the fuel and the pit strategy. I was kind of wondering if guys were going to make it in one stop or not. I wasn't anywhere near close to making it in one. So I made that last stop. I was hoping to get back out ahead of, I think it was Jeremy at that point. Came out in second. I missed it by just a little bit. I gave up a little bit of time on the pit road. So I just kind of had to ride with them and hope that they were going to come in for pit stops, which they did, and then wait for Jeremy to come in, and he did, and then just take care of things and manage some traffic and bring it home.
Oh, absolutely. Very battlefield race on your part, and very well executed indeed when it came to fuel strategy and just pretty much your pit strategy and hitting your marks every single lap, staying consistent. And we know it's very difficult to stay focused on a road course like this with going this fast. Things could go wrong very quickly, but you were able to overcome that and stay alive all race long. And towards the very end there, Jeremy was catching you at a very fast rate after his last round of pit stops, but you were still able to bring this thing home unchallenged. in first place. Very, very nice indeed. Well, but any final words before we let you go?
No, just thanks for you guys for broadcasting to put this on, and Jeff Dotson, everybody at the Roaring Thunder Racing League that puts these things together, and everybody who came out and raced tonight and then watched us.
Well, Robert, congratulations once again on your success tonight for the first race of the season right here at Sebring International Raceway, and we look forward to seeing you again at Auto Club Speedway next week with the Indy car. So, buddy, go celebrate this win. You earned it, and see you again next week at Auto Club Speedway.
Will do. Thank you.
That was tonight's race winner, Robert Barras, but next in line is defending champion 14 of Jeremy Horn, who somehow found extra gears after the last round of green flag pit stops. You got a cup there, Jeremy?
Yeah, 10-4, I got you.
How you doing tonight?
I'm doing pretty well. Having had some fun, so hopefully everybody else did.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. We had a lot of fun up here in the booth. Seeing you guys just battling when it came to fuel strategy and battling the track and trying your best to stay alive despite the high track temp, including all those bumps to go with the track. And last week, Jeremy, we got the honor of speaking with you up in the Dre broadcasting booth after the Figure 8 race at Irwindale. You talked about how ready you were to take on the new challenge. Well, you said you've raced these before in the previous seasons right here with the Roaring Thunder series, but you talked about how ready you were to get back to them and defend your title. Defend your title here with the Indy car series. And tonight you qualified in third place spot, stayed alive all race long, battled heavily despite having some some bad luck every now and then, touching the grass and everything. But how was your race despite that?
Everything was good. It was kind of boring. I kind of had all out there by myself tonight. Yeah, I just had a stupid moment there when I out of 2 and got into the grass a little bit. But other than that, it was good. That really killed my time, and Robert and I were so close on time that it was hard to make up any time. And Kighton was just dominated as far as speed went all night long. And if it wasn't for his bad luck, I think he and Robert could have got up there and maybe had a real good battle.
Oh, absolutely. And Jeremy, there towards, like I talked about with Robert, towards the very end of the race, you were gaining 2 seconds a lap against Robert Barras' lead over you. With that said, what happened there, man? Tell us about the extra gears you found. What's the secret?
Well, I just I figured out how to drive Sebring about halfway through this race. And it helped a lot that I was on light fuel and new tires there at the end. I think it's part to do why Cotton got that 145. That was just amazing. But I found a rhythm that suited me, and I quit making stupid mistakes. And I was able to catch him, and I was kind of hoping for a little bit more time there. But if we'd had a little bit more time, things would have panned out differently probably.
Absolutely, that's the exact same thing we said on that last lap on the last stretch in between turn 16 and 17. You were very close to him. You had him in your sights, and we just hoped for a few more laps there so you could be able to get up there and give him a run for his money. But it was still a well-fought battle on your part, not giving up and being able to adapt to the track and the machine every single lap despite the changing conditions. Well, buddy, next week we'll be going to Auto Club Speedway. Auto Club, it's a draft. It's going to be all about the draft at that track. And with that said, it can be anybody's race, anybody's game. So what's your game plan for next week? Anything you feel you need to work on, or anything along those lines?
Well, the biggest thing with Auto Club is just staying out of trouble. Like you said, the draft plays a humongous part, and these cars get so aerotight. To kind of figure out where you have to put your car when you're running behind somebody, and how to make speed. And there's 125 laps, and we only have one quick fix. So the key is to be able to come down to that last 25 laps and still have your quick fix left, and be on the lead lap. And anything can happen there. We had quite a wild ride there. It was 2 seasons ago when we raced the old Indy cars. So I'm looking forward to going back there.
Oh, copy that, brother. And that gives us something to look forward to even more from you with that 14 machine trying to defend that crown next week for the second race at Auto Club Speedway. Once again, congratulations on your success tonight, buddy. And any final words before we let you go?
Yeah, just want to thank you and for broadcasting this and everybody out there watching, Jeff and CB and everybody at Roaring Thunder for putting this thing on, and just thank my wife and my son for letting me take time out on Saturday evenings to run with these guys. It's real fun.
Congratulations once again, buddy, and look forward to seeing you again next week at Auto Club Speedway. Have a good week, buddy, and go get ready.
Thank you, too.
And that was the 14 of Jeremy Horn, but next in line is the post-sitter. The heavy mover went to the back and still maintained the podium somehow. 88 of Keaton Bomber's back. Look up there, Keaton.
Yeah, I do.
How you doing, buddy?
Doing pretty good. You know, kind of annoyed at myself for screwing up on lap 1, but I think, you know, to get back on the podium is about the best I could do after that. So I'm pleased with that result.
Oh, copy that, and we are very sorry to hear about the misfortune you had on the first lap. We actually were not even able to catch it. We noticed, but we just noticed that you went down to pit road, so we knew that was an unscheduled pit stop, and something bad must have happened. But absolutely, it was still nice seeing you work your way through the field despite that, and still finishing here in the third place spot in the podium. And tell us about the last round of pit stops. It seemed as though we assumed you were going to be able to make it on just one stop, and if that were the case, it was looking really good for you. But thinking about it now, was there anything you could have done differently when it came to pit strategy?
Yeah, actually, that's probably my biggest regret of the race. After I hooked the car on the curb, that's how I ended up spinning out of the lead. That little quick left-right right section, kind of before the back straightaway, I just hooked the underwing of the car on the curve, and it threw it into the tires. I had some front wing damage and I wanted to get it fixed, but if I had done maybe one more lap out on the track, then I wouldn't have had to make another stop at the end, and I ended up like taking, I guess I was ahead of Robert after the final stop before I had to make my final stop. So had I done one more lap, I would have been good to the end, and I think I could have won this race.
Oh, copy that, brother. Well, it was still a well-fought battle on your part, not giving up and seeing the bigger picture, still taking names from the back of the pack to the front of the pack, and executing some excellent pit stops despite the bad luck that you had early on. And how is your machine handling after you got the brand new one? How is it handling? Because we noticed the track temp was really on the high side tonight.
Yeah, the track temp led to a little understeer in the car, but once when you had fresh tires, it was actually pretty hooked up. You just the tires would go away pretty quickly. I think that's why you saw everybody do really fast laps towards the end, or at least Jeremy and I were really gunning it. I didn't get a chance to look at Robert's lap times, but we had fresh tires right at the end with a lighter car, and so we didn't have to, you know, we got the advantage of the tires and the fuel kind of peak performance, and that's how I was able to bang out that 45. I still feel like I could have gotten more out of the car on that lap. That's why I was so surprised to see I did that fast of a lap. But you know, I really wish that I had done that extra lap, because the front wing wasn't even that damaged looking back. But car was good after that. I was, as you can tell, coming from last to third.
Oh, absolutely, brother. Well fought battle once again on your part, and also want to commend you on not giving up and seeing the bigger picture, and it ended up benefiting you. And also going back to the beginning, you know, when I was catching up with you before the race began, you talked about how you had 10 minutes to pretty much learn the track and get used to the track, and before we knew it, about 2 minutes before qualifying was over, you overtook Robert Barras in qualifying and took the pole. It's like, god dang, man, that was some serious driving on your part, last minute driving on your part. It was very impressive, and also once again, congratulations on your third place finish, and it's very commendable of you not giving up and seeing the bigger picture, and that did definitely benefit you. Well, Keaton, any final words before we let you go?
I just want to thank you guys for putting on the broadcast. Thank Jeff for putting on the league. It's it's great to be back with these guys. It's been a little while since I've been able to run with them, and I'm hoping to do the full season. I might have to miss next week, do something I have planned, at 50-50 chance I can make it, but after that I'm hoping to make the rest of the season. And you know, I really enjoy these cars and really enjoy the people in this league, and just glad to be back.
Well, once again, congratulations on your success tonight, Keaton, and also want to welcome you back to the Roaring Thunder Racing League. Like you talked about, you haven't raced in a while, but you are now back finally racing with them again. So welcome back, and we look forward to seeing you spanking these boys, and hopefully you become crown the new champion here with the IndyCar Series. I look forward to seeing you again the next race you race, if you race next week, hopefully at Auto Club Speedway. But have a good week, buddy, and go celebrate. You earned it.
Thank you very much.
And that was third place driver Keaton Bommersbach. And that rounds up interviews Robert Barris, Jeremy Horn, and Keaton Bommersbach. Well, Dave, that was an amazing race. What a heck of a way to start the race season right here with the Roaring Thunder Racing League. This was the Roaring Thunder Racing League IndyCar Sebring Grand Prix, part of the Roaring Thunder Racing League IndyCar Race Series. It was an amazing race. We had two green flag pit stops with every single driver. And unfortunately, we lost one driver early on. That was the 18 of Rick Mason. We look forward to seeing this driver back next week, as well as everybody else at Auto Club Speedway. Well, Dave, any thoughts?
Yeah, just a great way to kick off the season. I can't wait to finish the season with us, guys. We're going to be here bringing all the action all season long, so it's going to be a blast. Can't wait to see what's going to happen next week as they hit an oval at Auto Club.
And once again, thank you for joining us, ladies and gentlemen, for race number 1, round 1 season opener of the Roaring Thunder Racing League IndyCar Race Series at Sebring International. And like Dave talked about, next week we'll be traveling to Auto Club for the Auto Club 250 with the Indy cars. You do not want to miss that, because these things draft like crazy. It's going to be difficult for drivers to pull away from each other. And yeah, you just don't want to miss it, so make sure you're going to be there. And once again, thank you for tuning in tonight as well for round number 1. The next broadcast is tomorrow night right here on the Dre Broadcasting Network, bringing you the Precision Racing League American iRacing Sunday Series at Dover International Speedway, Dover International Raceway, with the B cars, open setups B cars, Dover International Raceway, Precision Racing League. That's tomorrow night. Well, thank you for joining us once again. Welcome to Dre Broadcasting Network if you are new to the channel, and welcome back for those returning viewers. We can never thank you guys enough. It can't be the same without you guys. I am Sean Zulu, and David Everly behind the cameras, and also being my right hand man. I look forward to seeing you guys again next broadcast. Have a good night and a good rest of the weekend.